Miss Hurst from Hamilton County Schools. Today we are going to continue on our unit with a text by Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is just a really intelligent guy. So before we start, I'm going to share my screen with you. I want you to do this warm-up. Have you ever considered living in outer space? What things would you miss most and want to make part of your new home? Take some time to give me 2 or 3 sentences about that and go from there. All right, I want you guys to do a contiguous first read of this text, the Neil deGrasse Tyson on the Future of U.S. Space Exploration After Curiosity. It is an interview. So there's some background information, and then you can listen to the interview. It also has the text. So I'd like you to do a contiguous first read. We're going to be looking at Neil deGrasse Tyson's claim that he makes in each of his questions. Okay, so go ahead and do that and play me when you're ready to keep going. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to identify in each question, we're going to skip one of the questions, but we're going to identify in each question what Neil deGrasse Tyson was trying to prove. So this first one is some people are questioning the need to fund a government space program. Why do we still need NASA? So his claim here that he proves is that government must drive the funding of the space program. And I'm going to find a couple pieces of evidence from the text that prove that. So he starts by just saying, like, you're delusional if you think that that private enterprise can do the space stuff. So at the beginning of paragraph 2, he says, private enterprise can never lead a space frontier. It's not possible. And then he gives these reasons. It's expensive. I don't know if it's going to let me copy this. So I will just type it. Okay, so private enterprise can never lead a space frontier. It's not possible because a space frontier is expensive, it has unknown risks, and it has unquantified risks. So his evidence there shows that because a private enterprise will not be willing to take on these risks, it is up to the government to make it happen. So I'm going to go back to the text. And he's talking about how the government has done it in the past and how the government like sets up the routines and then kind of gives it to the private enterprises once they have it all set up. And he says, I don't know what they're thinking. The first colony in Mars is not going to be built by a private company. How are you going to make money? You're not. How are you going to make money? You're not. I think that's a really important thing because the government is one of the only entities that has the start. Just randomly did that. Cool. Okay, sorry. That has the startup capital or money to make something like a Mars colony happen. You know, the government's not necessarily worried about losing money to begin with if they're doing something like a Mars colony. So then he goes on and he's saying, like, right now, we're getting like private companies are giving us things that NASA charged a lot more for, cost a lot more for, because they don't do the first, they make it better, right? And so he says, I see private enterprise as a fundamental part of creating a space industry, but there will always be a frontier or like the first, right? So I see private enterprise as a fundamental part of creating a space industry. Excuse me, but there will always be the frontier. This is important because while private companies might have a place in exploring space, they won't be the first to do it because of all the risks. Government's going to be the first to do it. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is we're going to skip the second question and go straight to the third question. Are the barriers to sending humans to Mars political? So I want you to re-look through that text, and I want you to come up with a claim and at least 2 pieces of evidence that Neil deGrasse Tyson uses to support his claim. Pause me while you do that work. All right, I'm going to show you what I came up with. I think that he proved that NASA's innovation influences the culture of innovation in our country. I found 2 pieces of evidence that supported that when he says, when you feel that you are a part of an innovation nation, you think innovatively, no matter your field. And I think that he's saying because of the work NASA does, people living in our country will want to emulate NASA in terms of innovation. And then he says you start thinking that the science fiction story you just read or movie you just saw is maybe in reach. So I think he's saying that NASA makes people think more creatively about solutions to problems. Okay, so for your exit ticket today, I want you guys to do that same work with the last question. What's it going to mean to the human race if we land on Mars? Okay, so I want you to come up with a claim and at least 2 pieces of evidence and an explanation for that claim. Have a wonderful rest of your day.